What's going on, everyone? Day 2 of March Madness is almost in the books. We're just waiting for this Furman-UConn game to end. And I knew if I waited for this game to end because I want to say I had a 16-0 day, then Furman's going to win. So we're just going to roll past this game for now. It's been a pretty chalky day, so it shouldn't be a long video here to recap and react to everything. But I do want to lead with this. What do you do? It's the first game of the day. Santa Clara, who's been down most of the game, they take the lead. They get a little feisty toward the end. What do you do? Because you have Kentucky in your bracket. Well, you bet no more than $5 on Santa Clara. No more than $5 because you don't want to jeopardize the overall profitability of this venture, remember? What happens after that? Owe makes a miraculous three-point shot to force OT, snatches the momentum from Santa Clara, and wins the game. Now, what do you do when Villanova takes a 10-point lead in the second half after Utah State, again, had been leading for most of the first half? Well, you bet another $5 on Villanova because you have Utah State in the bracket. What happens after that? Villanova scores like 1 point. I'm pretty sure it was like 75-65, and this is the final score, as you could see, something along those lines. What do you do? I think this was yesterday, actually, when Siena gets a little feisty and has a double-digit lead on Duke. You bet $5 on them. And what happens? Duke outscores them 39-22 in the second half. What happens when Missouri takes a lead on Miami in this game, the last game that was really tight that you need? Again, this is a 2v15. We're just going to ignore that for now. What do? You bet $5 on Missouri. What happens after that? Miami wins by 14 points. Now, again, guys, a lot of this comes down to luck. And this game tomorrow, Duke-TCU, could wreck my entire bracket. So I'm not getting confident. I'm not getting cocky. I'm knocking on a lot of wood. Whenever I say the words like, oh, obviously Arizona is going to beat Utah State, you got to knock on wood because nothing is a given in March Madness. And yes, it's been nice so far. If UConn, again, knock on wood, beats Furman, we would only have 3 wrong picks in the round of 64. TCU, Ohio State, Texas, BYU, St. Louis, Georgia. Now, 2 of those I feel like I could have picked correctly. Texas, I was never going to pick a play-in team. So if you guys have been following the bracket so far, you should be in first place unless it's like 1,000 people. Then you might be in like 4th or 3rd, but we're in a good position right now. And again, as I've talked about before, as long as your 1s, your 2s, your 3s, your 4s advance, you're in a good spot. And it looks like, again, barring UConn, that is going to happen. It all could get wrecked in the next round here or two when they start playing each other. And so I do want to touch on, would I change any of these picks? Not really. I mean, UConn, UCLA, I don't like how UConn's playing tonight, so I might have taken UCLA. Texas Tech, Alabama, they're both missing a lot of players, injuries, arrests, lots of fun stuff. Maybe I'd reconsider that one. But I do like Vanderbilt over Nebraska. I like Florida over Iowa. Can't glean much from this game, this Prairie View A&M game, which is in Texas if you didn't know. They said earlier in the day that Arizona's margin of victory over Long Island University, which is in New York, was the biggest in the tournament in like 27 years for like a couple hours. And then Florida broke that record yet again. So that's pretty insane. But I feel like we should reevaluate how teams get into the tournament, considering we go through this long, arduous regular season and might not even matter for a lot of these mid-majors because some team could just get hot in their conference, go on a little 4-game run in the tournament and win. So Prairie View and AM, they were not favored to win their conference, right? That was kind of what the bid stealers in a way. Not really actually a bid stealer, considering no other team from their conference got in. A bid stealer was Akron, because if Miami of Ohio won, then Akron would not have gone in. It would just been Miami of Ohio out of the MAC. But anyways, just kind of going through these games. Wright State was very competitive in this game, very scary. Virginia pulled ahead at the end. Most of these games, though, the 2 seeds are taking care of business. Iowa State, Purdue just obliterating their competition. Queens University. I mean, look at that logo. It's like a lion with a crown. It's basically the lion at the end of Rudolph on the Island of Misfit Toys. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hofstra, again, very competitive early on, fizzled out. Cal Baptist, more competitive in the latter half of the game. Man, wow, they outscored Kansas by 12. So I do really like this pick here of St. John's over Kansas. It's probably one of my favorites. Never even considered this 12/5 upset. It really feels like St. John's should have been like a 2 or a 3 seed, 4 seed at most. Like, this does not feel like a 5/12 because you kind of feel like any 5/12 upset could happen. Now, Akron, Texas Tech, this was a popular pick to upset that clearly didn't come to fruition, wasn't all that close. Akron, again, a little feisty. I like that word, by the way. It was feisty because in the second half, not so much. Miami of Ohio, the story's over. That's probably the closest you'll get to a Cinderella this year, considering their magical undefeated regular season. UCLA let this game, that's why I'm a little concerned about them beating Michigan. No, what did I have? I have Michigan State. No, I have UConn being UCLA. So I guess UConn and UCLA are not playing all that well going into this game. Like, I feel like they really could have closed out UCF much earlier in this game, did not. Utah State looked good. I just don't foresee them beating Arizona, but should be a good game. Iowa, man, they made a lot of free throws toward the end of this game to shut out Clemson because Clemson was kind of rallying there. That game got weird. Thankfully, Iowa pulled it off. Miami, like I just said, Missouri was getting scary in the second half. They took the lead. This first half was ugly. Probably one of the worst first halves you'll see in March Madness between two power conference teams. 27-26, and it was looking like it was going to be like 27-20 going into the second half. That was gross. They played much better in the second half, but still don't feel good about either of them. Miami now against Purdue, and you have UConn Furman here. Fingers crossed. So I do want to go over to Odds God here just to play around with it a little bit. They're telling us Duke has a huge advantage over St. John's if St. John's were to win this game. Now, let's refresh, actually, just because I already selected what I would think. Looks like it's going to keep that. All right, looks like I can edit. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so you can see if you deselect St. John's, they're still giving Duke an overwhelming advantage. Here, let's take Michigan State off. Michigan State's got a 56% chance over Louisville. UConn has got a 57% chance over UCLA. So it's a good, interactive website. There was one I saw in here where I was like, no way. That makes no sense to me. Houston, 82 over A&M feels high. That feels really high considering Michigan. St. Louis here is only 76-23. They're giving Alabama a slight edge. So this will probably be the tightest game spread-wise. I do like Tennessee over Virginia considering how they both played today. I like Iowa State over Kentucky. So I do feel good a lot about my picks in the round of 32. But we can't take anything for granted whatsoever. Need to stay vigilant and respectful of everyone else's picks and brackets. Don't get too cocky, guys. I mean, 29 of 32 is great. It's great. It makes me feel really good because I think that's better than last year. And we all remember how accurate last year was. But a lot can change in an instant. So that's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully UConn can finish off Furman here, which I believe is in South Carolina. They made the FCS playoffs in football a few years ago. That's how I know about them. But I'll see you guys soon. If you guys continue to support these reaction videos, we'll continue to do them. It's as simple as that. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.